and welcome, or welcome back to Party Trick Astrology. I'm Nina.
I'm Shaina.
And Shaina's acting weird, but...
It's because you have to be a Taurus Rising. I was getting into character.
Okay. And this is the Taurus Rising video.
Yes.
So Taurus Rising is ruled by Venus. It's an earth sign, it's a fixed sign, it rules the neck, and it is the bull.
Ooh.
So it's a very, very sturdy sign.
Basically, Taurus Risings, I think, for me personally, are kind of hard to pinpoint because there's not really a obvious in-your-face thing, because they're the opposite of that. You know, they're so chill.
Yes, they're because it's the most grounded sign of the zodiac. It's the most sturdy and stable, and it's ruled by Venus. So being around a Taurus rising, you do get this very chill atmosphere, and you get a very you feel very calm and safe around a Taurus rising.
Like,
I think
everything will be okay. You know?
The epitome of a Taurus rising for me, and she's also a Taurus, is Cate Blanchett and the characters that she plays in Blue Jasmine and Carol, because they are so sophisticated and luxurious and wearing fur coats, which is totally a Taurus rising kind of thing because it's all about feeling and touch and being luxurious, and Venus is all about the finer things in life. But they are so, the characters that she plays, and her really, they're also just put together and strong. These make for very strong people, and physically you can see very strong people with broad shoulders.
Okay, you think Venus as in feminine, but I think of Taurus as more of like a masculine feminine in a strange way. In that sense of it's sturdier than the Libra rising. Libra rising is air, it's flighty, they come across more light. I don't know, like not like literally in complexion, but just like their appearance is lighter. But Taurus is more grounded and rooted, that things are more, that are almost like heavier because they're more built into the ground and sturdy. So they have more harsher Venusian features.
Not harsher, really, just sturdy. If you think
like,
of,
I don't know what to call it.
If you think of the what luxury meant back in the day, it was whoever could eat the most. And Taurus is all about that. So it was plumper people. Not saying that you are necessarily big or plump at all if you are a Taurus rising. I know people that are the opposite, but you know, the typical idea of someone who is more well-fed, you know?
What I think is that Taurus is kind of notorious, of course, for eating, because that's one of the biggest comforts and stuff. So a lot of times, with a Taurus rising, you think of comes weight. But what I think it's more of like, because it's a fixed sign, that it's like whatever weight you are, you're just fixed in it. You know, and so I think it's harder to, if you're a skinny person as a Taurus rising, it's going to be harder to gain weight. And if you're more naturally heavier, or you were heavier as a child, it's going to be harder for you to lose that weight. And if you do gain weight, it's going to be like slow. It's not like, you're not going to probably be that kind of person that like flip-flops really quickly.
Yeah, for sure. You're like Cancer risings can change their appearance from day to night. Like
any mutable rising, Pisces rising will wake up looking like a different person the next day.
But Taurus rising, I feel like they always just kind of look like themselves. Which means that they can stay younger for longer, because there's also beauty and youth.
And you're ruled by Venus, so there's that Venusian quality added to your rising. You always are aware of their presence. It's not like a Cancer rising where they float to the background. You're always aware that they're there, but it's not an intense looming thing. It's a very like subtle, like when they chime in is natural, but they're not going to be
overpowering. They're not like a Scorpio rising, they're the opposite, but they really do just like take up space. Not like, oh my god, Taurus risings like are so fat.
Leo
it's just
rising, like I take up space. It's just
they're heavy in a way of like their presence is heavy, their presence is noticeable and notable. They're fixed, so they're not, you know, running around all the place. You know, you can feel their presence in a room, and it's very calming. It's very, you feel, you know who I think might be a Taurus rising is Stanley from The Office.
Oh,
because he's just like, he's always at his desk.
Yeah.
And you know, Stanley's there. It's nice to know Stanley's there.
Yeah.
He might be a little judgmental and short with you, but you know, that's Stanley.
There he is. He's
there
always,
he is.
and you know, after a while, what he's gonna say gets predictable, but it never gets old.
Yeah.
You know, I've observed. I used to work with a Taurus rising, and she would be very chill, whatever, doing her thing, whatever. But then the second, and she didn't even have like a very aggressive Mars by any means, but it was just the second like there would be an altercation, then she would get involved in it. Like because they're stubborn, and so if somebody's going to come at her for the way that she's working, like if somebody's like, no, I heard that we could do blah 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 here, she's gonna be like, no you didn't, and she would get in trouble every now and then, because even though she was right, she would
go about it in a
more aggressive way, and it was kind of, it wasn't like a fiery energy. She's like in a stubbornness that she's not going to back down, even though there's that whole like customer employee thing where like the customer's always right. She doesn't think that. Like, no, the customer's not always right. She's always right. And so she's going to defend herself. And that definitely got her a few strikes.
Because it's a fixed sign, you know, it's very hard to move a Taurus rising.
Yeah.
I know a lot of Taurus risings that have fixed suns. But then Sierra is a Taurus rising with a Pisces sun. So she's very mutable. But if you get her talking about something that she believes very much about, she like, and she's also Sagittarius moon.
Yeah.
She's like, you know, start talking to her about see how she acts.
And it can even be something kind of petty, or not necessarily petty, but smaller, whereas like they like this musician, they like this movie, nobody can tell them it's bad, it's good, you know?
Yeah.
They won't really hear it, and I think that's definitely a good way to be, but also they don't I feel like they don't always understand, like, it's not always the right time and the right place to be, you know?
So standing up for yourself. But also things like, it's not the little things to a Taurus rising, because food and movies, like,
that is the big things.
Yeah, that's like the most art, sensorial things, and just Taurus is all about the five senses. So that's why food is such a big thing for Taurus placements, because food just involves all of your five senses. My cousin is a Taurus rising, and it is she has a family, she has a husband and a child. It's always her way or the highway. You know, it's like, you want to play another game or another round of something? No, we're going home now. And like, he's a Scorpio, so he's also stubborn.
Yeah.
But she always wins. It's always her way.
Taurus risings, I don't know, this just might be Shaina not, I don't know, having a 7th house sun and not seeing people, and like Neptune the 7th, but I always find Taurus risings to be unexpectedly romantic. Like, they're all very like pure romantic, and a lot of them you wouldn't expect it necessarily, because they seem so like grounded and practical, but they're always like, where's my wife at? You know, they're in a relationship, you're gonna see the pictures of them going out and doing these little things, and like, they're definitely going to be very, I think of it as like a very pure romantic sign, but
well, all the fixed signs are signs of love.
Yeah. But in Taurus sense, I think of it as more of a partnership oriented rather than like, because there's a difference between like being romantic, and I think of like the Libra relationship thing, where it's more all about like relationships, it's more flighty, and Taurus is more sturdy. I have this picture of like field, and like there's that like romantic filter on it, and not necessarily, they're not running through the field, they're like sitting on their back, and they're like and they have like their picnic, and this person that they've been with for a long time that will always be there is with them, like that kind of romance.
Well, Taurus is all about things that are of quality, and one of the 5 love languages is quality time. So that's very romantic. And to be sturdy, a huge thing about relationships is someone providing for you, you know, providing for the other person, and Taurus really brings that to the table. So in that way, that's like the kind of romanticism that they go about.
Yeah.
Things of quality. Gifts is something very Taurian. So that's another love language.
Taurus is notorious for wanting and needing financial security. So I think that they go about their daily life wanting to live it as practical as possible and doing things that will in the future give them that financial security. And definitely probably having relationships that they can see being beneficial, not in that sense of they're using them in a manipulative way like Scorpio, but using relationships to benefit their life and goals. Yeah, goals.
Which, I guess since we've been talking about Taurus rising in relationships, let's move on into their 7th house. If you are a Taurus rising, and anyone who is a Taurus rising has their 7th house cusp ruled by Scorpio. Your 7th house is your other half, has to do with romantic partnerships, has to do with the things that you don't see in yourself without someone else showing it to you, what you learn through other people. So to have Scorpio in the 7th house, Scorpio is all about the things that are hidden. So Taurus is it's a sign that likes comfort. So it's a very comfort zone kind of sign. And Scorpio is the very opposite. So Taurus risings are looking for someone with Scorpio qualities, someone that can get them out of their comfort zone, get them maybe thinking deeper, exploring more. And Scorpio is all about getting rid of things. And Taurus is all about accumulating things, all about collecting, feeling secure. It's always things of quality. It's not, just random hoarding.
Quality over quantity here.
But Scorpio can help Taurus release attachments, get rid of things, even like feel a little freer to spend money, kind of just dive into also all the things that aren't safe. So,
because Taurus loves to be safe and secure, and Scorpio knows nothing of that.
Yeah.
So, you also probably see others as, because like you probably think of yourself as like simple and practical and straightforward and no funny business, right? Not necessarily that you don't have a sense of humor. That's not what I'm saying. But I mean like no silly little games. Like that's not Taurus. So you probably see everybody else as like just maybe they can be a little bit too complicated and like why are you so like mind games and manipulative, like I'm just gonna say it like it is and you're over here using all these tactics to get what you want when you can just ask for what you want like I do.
Think about how Stanley thinks of everyone else in the office.
Thanks, yeah, I could have just said that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you need that person because you need that person that, not necessarily, I'm saying that, Taurus Risings, you should start doing mind games on people, but more of diving deeper into the mind.
Your comfort zone obviously is very comfortable, but it's no way to live your entire life.
Yeah.
And sometimes things are not so straightforward. So we say that you're in a relationship with a Scorpio as a Taurus rising. The Scorpio is going to be more psychological about, the children that you have. And if someone's acting, not straightforward, a Scorpio is going to be able to look more into the entirety of what's going on and enlighten you, and it's just always good to see both sides of the coin. And I feel like Taurus and Scorpio really are like both sides of the coin. Like some signs I find more similarity, like some opposite signs I find more similarities in them than others. Taurus and Scorpio I think are very, very opposite, which is why they are so good together.
Yeah. I think it's one of the best opposition pairings, but also one of the most opposite.
Yeah, but it's also, they're both fixed signs, so you are looking for, I'm saying like you're looking for someone who is loyal.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Gonna stay by your side, because if you're a fixed sign, you want someone who's gonna stay by your side.
Yeah,
He's
you're
going to
kidding,
be
that's
loyal.
all Taurus wants.
I mean, as far as argument goes.
That's what I was.
Yeah. But then again, look at Mars and whatever.
What is Taurus Rising's face shape? I think of as like full-faced. If that makes sense. They're not really one to have like the chiseled cheekbones and the sharp jaw. I don't know. I think of it as more like a full plump beauty. Like Mariah Carey and Lana Del Rey. Again, maybe they've had plastic surgery. Taurus Risings also, because it rules the throat neck area, so they usually have a very beautiful voice. Like Adele sounds like such a Taurus Rising. It's so deep and pure and like rich and like just yes, you know. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a great singer, but your voice is going to be
sweeter, nicer to listen to. Or you can have thyroid problems.
That's true. You could also have some throat issues, or maybe
sore
really
throats.
Maybe really like chokers and accessorizing. It's just a very
But in general, appearance of Taurus Risings, because it's like it's fixed Earth and Venus, there's nothing really that stands out too much about their appearance, just because it is very calm and chilled. They might have rounder faces, and you can see Taurus Risings that have, like, I don't think I've ever seen a Taurus Rising with a very big nose.
No.
They're usually flat, like a bull nose. So yeah, maybe someone who looks a bit like a bull. I feel like when there's signs that are ruled by animals, you can look at the animal, except no one in the world looks like a crab. We look like the moon.
The way that their face gets formed is just like, what's the most practical way for a face to look? And then that's what it is. It's just like, it's nothing crazy, it's nothing outlandish. It's just like, yep, this is what it needs to be. And like, you kind of go about that same way with dressing. Like, it's a very much like, this is what I'm doing, then this is how I'm dressing. They're not necessarily like big trendsetters, but that also doesn't mean that they don't have any fashion sense. You know what I mean?
I disagree, because it's ruled by Venus. I think that they wear the most luxurious.
Oh yeah.
It can be very practical, but like, I don't think it's not without thought. It's not like purely practical. I think they are very, like Kate Middleton is very like practical, but she's one of the biggest fashion icons.
Yes, but what I meant by trendsetter is that if you think of Kate Middleton, she wears things that have been worn before, if that makes sense. Like, it's not necessarily like new and revolutionary. It's very much like, it's luxurious and it's like
classic.
Yeah, it's a very classic thing. That's what I mean. Okay, so that was your Taurus Rising video.
Hope you enjoyed.
Yes.
And see you next time, hopefully. Actually, you'll see us. We can't see you.
Bye.